Welcome back to our channel. We want to thank you for joining. If you are joining for the first time, we appreciate your time as always. Here we talk geopolitics and how Africa engage strategic partner. The country of the Democratic Republic of the Congo is experiencing one of the most fundamental shifts that we've seen in any country across the continent of Africa. At this time, we all have seen the current challenges that the country of the Democratic Republic of Congo is going through at the moment. A vast natural resource rich region, one of the most richest countries around the world. The Democratic Republic of the Congo is charting a new part, a dangerous part in its history at this time. The former leader, Mr. Kabila's immunity have been stripped off by the parliament of the Democratic Republic of the Congo. This has caused eyebrows across the global community. Geopolitical partners are observing very closely because these are strategic times in the country of the DRC's history. It is important to note that law must take its course, justice must take its course. However, it's important to know that Mr. Kabila is not just an ordinary citizen, a former leader who have strong foothold in the regions around the Katanga where he comes from, and more importantly, he also have his own connections in the country. The big question now is the Democratic Republic of the Congo trying to resolve its internal problems or trying to kickstart a hopeful new problem? We are watching so closely. That's the reason why it is important at this time for the continent of Africa to observe this particular move by the Parliament of the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Africa has got enough, and at this moment it needs to sit up to look at its own issue and resolve important problems like this. The DRC's issue with regards to Rwanda and other countries is not yet solved. At this moment, the country of the DRC Congo is charting a dangerous part in its history. Let's play the clip.
Former DRC President Joseph Kabila made his first public statement after being stripped of his immunity. Authorities have accused him of treason and war crimes, saying there was enough evidence linking Kabila to the M23 armed group, which has taken control of several towns in the eastern region. In a long speech, he remained defiant, denouncing failures of governance under President Félix Tshisekedi. Let's have a listen.
Le cœur serré.
It's with a heavy heart that I see, 6 years after I stepped down as president, that the heritage of unity that was bestowed onto our people has been completely destroyed by the very person who was supposed to protect it. The country has become lawless. The Republic has stopped being democratic, and the word of the president has now become law.
And on leaving power in 2018, Joseph Kabila became the first former DRC leader to obtain the honorific title of Senator for Life, and with it, parliamentary immunity. But for the senators who voted for the lift, the rule of law has prevailed.
This time, the DRC must not become a sanctuary for impunity. So we're letting justice do its job. We're promoting the rule of law. No one is untouchable in this country.
In justice, you always have to see things through to the end. And I think that instead of just speculating, it's better to have a much more complete investigation.
The DRC is facing an incredible moment in its history, with the United States of America involved at the moment, talking about the recent peace that the so-called that was signed. We all are still going to see what's going to happen. However, any aspect of peace is still considered a move to the right direction. And more importantly, other geopolitical partners are watching. The continent of Africa is watching very closely. South Africa and other very important partners who have some stake, who have made some effort in terms of trying to resolve the problem of the Congo. Remember, the country of Angola and a whole lot of other international partners have been involved with regards to these particular events happening in the country of the DRC. But with the former president, Mr. Kabila, who have been living in the country of South Africa up until now, recently went back to one of the parts of the country in the DRC. His immunity has been stripped up, and experts are warning that this could be another wake-up call that could lead to something else that's unexpected. Listen, geopolitics involvement and the strategic relationship that the Congo, based on its natural resources, and more importantly, the Congolese people have experienced some terrible period in their history, going back to the relationship with the Belgians, talking about the situation that the country went through. And if you look at the assassination of the former president, Mr. Kabila, talking about Mobutu's period, this country has a baggage full. And for the parliament at the moment to come up at this strategic time in its history, where it's going through an incredible transition, talking about the peace, talking about the challenges in the part of the Congo that we all know, then by stripping the former leader, who basically may have some contacts and connections across the region, talking about the DRC itself, it raises eyebrows across the geopolitical environment. Make no mistake, this move by the country of Congo is being watched closely by partners around the world. However, experts say Congo does have its own internal policy, and they're going to move forward to strip that particular, which has been stripped already, and they will move ahead to implement that particular decision by the parliament. So we all will see what happens with regards to this particular move. Let's roll the clip.
88 senators from the Democratic Republic of Congo's upper house on Thursday voted in favor of Joseph Kabila's prosecution for treason, while only 5 opposed it. The former president now faces the prospect of being tried in military courts for allegedly backing an insurrection in the country's east. Also revoked was Kabila's honorific title of Senator for Life, which he obtained on leaving office.
Consequently, the Senate authorizes the prosecution and lifting of Joseph Kabila's immunity, Senator for Life.
Kabila came to power in 2001 after the assassination of his father, Laurent Kabila. He refused to stand down when his final term officially ended in 2016, resulting in demonstrations that left several people dead. He finally agreed to leave office following an election in 2018. But authorities are now accusing him of treason and war crimes, saying there is a substantial body of documents, testimony and material facts linking Kabila to the M23, whose recent lightning offensive has intensified the ongoing conflict in the country's east.
Like I said, the Democratic Republic of the Congo is facing incredible moment in its history. It's important to know that the former leader have been talking to other countries across the region. More importantly, the former president of the country of South Africa, Mr. Thabo Mbeki, see the problem of the Congo from a different perspective. And he has missed no word. He went back to history. Mr. Thabo Mbeki looked at the historical formation of the Democratic Republic of the Congo, invoking the former revolutionary leader and former prime minister who lost his life in the colonial period, Mr. Lumumba. Mr. Thabo Mbeki was talking from the point of historical discussions, bringing in details, talking about the divide and rule aspect that has ruined this particular African country. Make no mistake, the Congo is one of those nations, like I said, that is extremely rich. But the divisive nature of this country has plunged Congo into a period where we lost decades. And according to Mr. Thabo Mbeki, he went back to tap into the main issue that Lumumba faced at the time, and that the current president or the current government in the country, including that of Mr. Kabila in the past, that do not understand the fundamentals regards to the fragmentation of the country of the Congo. Into his own understanding that there is an internal issue that even the peace deals might not play into the hands of the peace acceptors. So there is a bigger problem here that maybe the United States of America, European Union, and other countries may not understand. So Mr. Mbeki did not miss his word. He came out clear and educate and inform and warn that this may be bigger than what people are looking at. Let's play this clip.
Former DRC President Joseph Kabila has arrived in the city of Goma after parliament in that country lifted immunity from prosecution. Kabila is accused of supporting the rebels there. He's announced that he'll return to the DRC when he was in South Africa about 2 months ago. Former South African President Thabo Mbeki met with him at the time and says he hasn't spoken with Kabila since the latest developments. However, there's a possibility that Mbeki may very well get a briefing from the former president.
No, I have not spoken to him since he left South Africa. I'm sure I will be able to speak to him at some point. But the problem, Sophie, is that the government in Kinshasa, like many others, including Joseph Kabila's government, the government in Kinshasa, I don't think has properly understood the Congo, its challenges, and therefore provide the right solutions. You know, when Patrice Lumumba led the liberation struggle for the liberation of the Congo, they had a view about this is the colonial Congo that we are inheriting from the Belgians. This is the new Congo that we want. And a very important element of that was to say we must unite the Congolese people. Mm-hmm. That was part of the Lumumba's revolution. Mm-hmm. Whatever the Belgian colonialists had done to divide the Congolese people, we as these Congolese revolutionaries must unite. That's part of the problem. When the government in Kinshasa is hostile to the Banyamulenge in the Eastern Congo because they are Rwandan speaking. These are Congolese. Or take a posture like the one they are taking now about President Kabila. As you know, Joseph Kabila comes from Katanga.
Katanga region.
He comes from the Katanga region. You take a position in Kinshasa, you say, he's a traitor, he's supporting the M23, we want to punish him. The whole population of Katanga is going to be against that government in Kinshasa. It doesn't solve anything for the government in Kinshasa or the Congo. Because I'm saying that the government in Kinshasa, even the current government, has not understood what was very clearly understood by Patrice Lumumba and others, that the task of the unification of the Congo is very important. Because they were governed under a colonial system. It was not in that interest of the colonial system to unite these Congolese. It is to govern them in such a weak way, so that they are all weak to rebel against the colonial system. If you continue that, you are just asking for trouble.
So, for those of you who don't really know much about Mr. Kabila, he's the son of the former president who was killed in the country of the Democratic Republic of the Congo. And he took over power from his father and ruled the country for quite some time. And also, there have been challenges during his reign, working alongside other partners, no election. There were a number of happenings in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. It's a complex problem, so complex that even experts themselves cannot really dive into it. So, Mr. Kabila, it's someone who's been in the politics of the DRC. He has a stake in terms of the geostrategic relationship between the Congo and his partners. He understands the fundamentals so far. And his historical links gives you a better picture as to the reason why this immunity stripping might be something that the world should be watching very closely. Let's play this clip.
Mr. President, now the DRC government is working with the Americans to try and resolve that conflict. Do you think a solution outside the continent will be a lasting one?
No, I think the notion that you can negotiate, that the government of the Congo and the government of Rwanda must meet and sign a peace agreement is fine. That's going to solve the problems of the Eastern Congo is wrong. This has been tried before, and we keep saying to the people, to everybody, the problems of the Eastern Congo are domestic to the Congo. They don't originate from outside of the borders of the Congo. So whatever the Americans have been doing to encourage Kinshasa and Kigali to get together and something, it has not solved the problems of the Congo. That problem must be solved by the Congolese people. So what the Africans have said, you remember when SADC and the East African community get together, we must encourage the peacemaking among the Congolese. Kinshasa must talk to the M23. They must sort out all of this. That is the correct posture. Sure, you can talk to Uganda, Rwanda, and so on about what their own attitude towards the Congo is. But that the solution to the Congolese problem of the Banyamulenge does not lie in Kigali. It lies in Kinshasa.
The Democratic Republic of the Congo is going through an incredible transition at the moment, and the continent of Africa must sit up at this time, looking at the history of this African nation from the Belgians, considering how it has its collaborations with other geostrategic partners. But the Congo, with its natural resources, is facing a challenging time in its survival. An expert, according to experts, that if this particular moment had not been fixed, they are not being organized properly, that what we've seen recently between the country of Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of the Congo is just a tip in the iceberg. The current stripping of the former president's immunity may be raising eyebrows across several regions around the world. More importantly, the African Union should pay closer attention. The former peace individuals, countries like Angola, and more importantly, other strategic partners who were involved with regards to this particular peace effort should be paying attention again in the country of the DRC. The move by the parliament to strip Mr. Kabila of this, others said that he deserves it, others said that justice must take its course. However, all of this move should never be politically motivated. It is important for the continent of Africa that the global community is observing Africa, that anywhere that conflict rages, that the continent of Africa would need to solve it on its own. Nobody is coming to save you. You got to sit down and solve your own problem. The world is changing. The United States of America at the moment is practicing protectionism and also going it alone. These are challenging times in the continent of African history, and the current move by the country of the DRC Congo parliamentarians should be watched closely. I want to thank you for watching. I will be looking forward to meeting you soon in our next episode. Have a good day. Bye-bye.